Good evening, children. Your mummy and daddy are drunk, and so they have asked me to read you a bedtime story for Halloween. I have chosen Janet and Allen Ahlberg's Funny Bones. This is how the story begins. On a dark, dark hill, there was a dark, dark town. In the dark, dark town, there was a dark, dark street. In the dark, dark street, there was a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark staircase. Down the dark, dark staircase, there was a dark, dark cellar, and in the dark, dark cellar, some skeletons lived. There was a big skeleton, a little skeleton, and a dog skeleton. One night, the big skeleton sat up in bed. He scratched his skull. "What shall we do tonight?" he said. "Let's take the dog for a walk," said the little skeleton, "and frighten somebody." "Good idea," the big skeleton said. So the big skeleton, the little skeleton, and the dog skeleton left the dark, dark cellar, climbed the dark, dark staircase, and stepped out into the dark, dark street. They walked past the houses and the shops. They walked past the zoo and the police station. They went into the park. The big skeleton scratched his skull. "What shall we do now?" he said. "Let's play on the swings," said the little skeleton, "and throw a stick for the dog and frighten somebody." "Good idea," the big skeleton said. So the big skeleton, the little skeleton, and the dog skeleton walked round the dark, dark pond, past the dark, dark tennis courts, and up to the dark, dark swings. The big skeleton and the little skeleton played on the swings. They threw a stick for the dog. Suddenly something happened. The dog skeleton chased the stick, tripped over a bench, bumped into a tree, and ended up as a little pile of bones. "Look at that," the big skeleton said. "He's all come to pieces. What shall we do now?" "Let's put him together again," said the little skeleton. "No," replied the big skeleton. "Let's take him to Mr. Bonejangles, the confectioner. Then we can finally complete the project." So they walked out of the dark, dark park, down the dark, dark lane, past the dark, dark florist, full of headless flowers, and came to the door of a little sweet shop. "Hello," said Mr. Bonejangles. "Hello," said the skeletons. The little dog skeleton skull said nothing. "We've got the final pieces we need for the project." "Excellent," said Mr. Bonejangles, his eyes bright with excitement. "Let us not waste a moment." In the back of the little sweet shop, behind the jars of gummy worms, bonbons, and popping fizz bangs, was a dark, dark room. In the dark, dark room lay a cold, cold slab, covered in the bones of 100 beasts. The three of them set to work, and as they did, they sang. "The neck bone's connected to the shoulder bone. The shoulder bone's connected to the wing bone. The wing bone's connected to the claw. The backbone's connected to the leg bone. The leg bone's connected to the foot bone. The foot bone's connected to the claw." All night, the big skeleton, the little skeleton, and Mr. Bonejangles worked, linking bone to bone, ball to socket, building the creature. "Almost done," said the little skeleton. The big skeleton picked up the dog skeleton's skull and, with exultation, placed it atop the creature's spine. "At last," he cried, "it is done. The bone demon is complete." "The timing couldn't be better," said Mr. Bonejangles, surveying his meagre supply of sweets in the shop. "I'm almost out of milk tooth bottles. There's only one jar of Jelly Belly gob choppers. And I'm all out of toes for my legendary Toblerone." "Well then," said the big skeleton, "there isn't any time to waste. "Flick the switch," he said to the little skeleton. "The town is still in darkness, and the children will be sound asleep." The little skeleton flicked the switch, and with a crackle of electricity, the bone demon came alive. "It's alive!" they cried in unison. "It's alive! In no time we'll have all the children we can eat." Mr. Bone Jangles creaked open the shutters on the window and commanded the bone demon to flight. "Fetch me the sweet flesh of the living young," he bellowed, "and bring me their bones for boiling." The bone demon flew out into the dark, dark night, looking, searching for open bedroom windows through which to snatch sleeping children from whence they lay. And so, every night the bone demon leaves the little sweet shop, and every night returns with enough children that Mr. Bone Jangles may never again have empty shelves. So when you go to bed tonight, make sure to close your window, because maybe, your parents just love the taste of Mr. Bone Jangles' Toblerone.